The Heroes of Greyhawk is a game played by adults and recorded for an adult audience. Sometimes we use adult language and explore adult topics. Consider yourself warned.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Spear Adventures Guild. My name is Dave, your humble dungeon master, host, and pal for Heroes of Greyhawk, which is a game that we play just about every Tuesday evening here on the internets, here on Twitch. So thank you all for joining us and hanging out. This is posted to our YouTube channel as well later. So if you're into the YouTubes, we appreciate you there. Check out our stuff. Lots of good content in that archive, and thanks to all the people who have made that possible, including some of the great folks in this chat tonight. Thank you, guys. Great to see you all. We are going to jump into another game here, but I would be remiss if I didn't first mention that I get to play this game with a bunch of really beautiful people. Some really God's honest, beautiful people that I appreciate so dearly. Some of them have bangs, some of them don't, but that's not really the point. They've all got the riz, and that's why I love them. And here they are, my good friends, my good buddies, Mr. Vamp Dickman, Minnesota Muse, Flea Monkey, and Andy G3D, who looks a lot like a Hero Forge custom art caricature of himself. So Andy's not here with us tonight, but we are thinking of him on these cold winter nights, just cuddling up in front of the fireplace, trying to stay warm with our cold, cold hearts. No? Shell?
Yeah.
All right, anyways. Hey guys, how's it going? Sorry about that weird intro. I'm just feeling a little, you know, I don't know.
We're sad because Andy's not here.
Yeah, Andy's not here. It's the end of the year. You know, 2023 is coming to an end. 2024 is about to fire into the atmosphere, which is exciting. We had a great year, and I am honestly and sincerely very thankful for all of you being part of the games that we play over here, being a big part of it, so thank you for that. Before we get too far and before I start to get teared up here, I want you all to introduce yourself because, you know, there's at least 3 or 4 people in the chat who may or may not know who you are. And so let's go ahead and start with Shelly. Hi, Shell.
Hey, yo. It's Shelly here. You can find me on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram at Hey, it's Flea Monkey. And Flea Monkey on the chat, all that stuff, Discord, whatnot. Tonight, I am playing Nori, Philomena, Bibble Spark, 5th level Hexblade Warlock.
Oh yeah.
Ready to hex you up.
Mad Riz, the full package. Call her what you want. She's got all the moves.
Yeah. All I got though.
Shelly, thanks for being here. Great to see you. Did you have a nice holidays?
Pleasure.
You got big plans for the New Year's Eve?
Whiskey and self-reflection, yo.
Okay, not necessarily in that order. Let's jump over to Vamp Wickman. Hey, Vamp, you're back again? What's going on here?
I'm back with all of my problems, both documented and undocumented. They're the fun ones, I promise. The chat here. Yeah, Vamp Wickman on the socials. I'm here on Tuesdays now. This is fun, and you'll find me at GaryCon celebrating 50th anniversary.
Oh, yeah.
Also Founders and Legends. Can't wait to see all you there, all you miscreants and misfits to, you know, bust out that Riz. I don't want to say that word.
Yeah, there we go.
We're hip. We're with it.
Yep.
It's a Rizzy night. Can you use that? Can you use it that way?
I don't know.
Riz it up.
Wow.
We're going to be in Riz jail.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. This is getting out of hand.
So.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm playing Alrin, Bard, and I got stuff. I don't know. Keep it going.
He's got boots.
I got the fancy boots that everybody wants to see, and the Hero Forge flat mini that I won from Phoenix Iwaki. I ordered that mini as a 2D one.
Damn.
So it's coming.
Nice.
Purple boots and everything.
Nice.
That's
I
hot.
won during that charity stream.
That is super hot. Hey, we got a first time chatter who's getting Rizzy in the chat. A true
Bring
chat
it.
buddy. Bring it. Yeah, thanks. Welcome in.
Bring it.
Zaku Nick, the space pope. Whoa. I didn't even
Getting
know they had
rizzy,
popes in
y'all.
space. That's cool. Hey,
have a spaceship.
Chad, thanks for coming back and playing more games with us. Really appreciate it. Can't wait to see you in the flesh, all of the flesh, up close and personal flesh. Before we get too carried away with that, let's go over to Ashley. Hi, Ash. How are you?
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley. You may know me as Minnesota Muse. I'm Minnesota Muse on our Discord, Minnesota Muse on Blue Sky, and Minnesota Muse 99 on the threads. So come by and friend me, whatever. And apologies because my headphones broke. So I'm in between headsets and I'm using like multiple sources of audio. And I am playing for you tonight Xanthi, the golden skins, golden eyes, changeling sorcerer who is very much more deadly than she used to be. And she's got a lot of confidence right now because finally we lifted Dez's curse and everything is just wonderful. I mean, other people are dying, but for us, it's really good.
Hunky dory. Well, welcome back, Ashley. Great to have you. I don't care if your microphone is broken or not. We like having you around. So thanks for being here. We have a couple of announcements, my friends. We want to say, I want to give some shout outs. First of all, big shout out to our continual sponsors over at CZRPG. Please go check out their Patreon. They have a bunch of great offers where they provide adventures and maps and content for your 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons shenanigans. And they've also got a fantastic CZRPG catalog of content. So go check them out. We support them on Patreon because they do great work and they support us and we appreciate that. So thanks to them. Also a big shout out to Anna B. Meyer, who creates the amazing map that you'll see oftentimes in our game. It's very inspiring and Anna does a ton of work on that. Anna has a Patreon as well, which I highly recommend you check out. Support Anna because she's doing some fantastic stuff. And then I would be remiss if I didn't do a quick shout out to our Heroes of Greyhawk logo creators over at Trixie Wizard. Thanks to Aaron and Adam for creating this awesome logo that you see up above our heads here on the screen. We really appreciate them for that. And then finally, if you know our good friend Wiley Hobbit, he and a friend, a partner, a compatriot of his make the Grey Cast podcast, which is fantastic. If you want to learn a bunch of nerdy stuff about the wonderful world of Greyhawk, go check that out. We like to support our friends. We hope you will too. So thank you for that. You probably are noticing if you're just joining us that Andy's not here tonight. So Andy, big shout out to you, buddy. We'll see you next week when you are when you're back here, assuming that you make it back. Yeah, and with your air horn. I think that's pretty much all the announcements that we have. So my friends, let's jump into our recap as we do. In our last session, the party entered Nulb to find it fully occupied by an organization or a group or an alliance called the Vanguard, which was led by Burne's Badgers and reinforced by troops from Verbobank. Let me drop this audio a little bit. Okay. On arrival, you paid a visit to the Badgers' headquarters, where you met with Alrin's contact, Lieutenant Vol. Now, Vol had paid off the bounty on Deadly Devon, the one, the brigand that you had returned for payment, Alrin. And Vol also requested that the party do what they could to track down and perhaps capture a Black Hand ringleader named Mr. McKinty. Now, some of the party members are quite familiar with Mr. McKinty from an earlier visit to Nulb. And the party requested an audience with Burne, someone else that they're quite acquainted with. But Lieutenant Vol said that he would put in the request, given the fact that Burne was presently preoccupied with something quite serious and not taking visitors. The party set off to reconnoiter the situation in Nulb, get some chow and discuss their next move. And as they set out, they had a chance encounter with another old friend, Toblob. Toblob! The diminutive goblin sneak was thrown over the shoulder of a mercenary from Verbo City, destined, as it were, for the brig, accused of skulking around the edge of town, being mischievous and super sus. Now, determined to see their green-skinned comrade released, the party put in a word with Lieutenant Vol, who assured the party that Tobla would be treated fairly and released as soon as they were done questioning the little guy. Cute little guy. After a visit to the Waterside hostel, you sought out Carson, the fishmonger, and found him sitting, as he always is, near the docks, keeping an eye on things. After a bit of small talk, you struck a deal. In exchange for information on McKinty's whereabouts, you agreed to deliver a letter to a high-ranking badger named Furcus. With a bit of spycraft and a ton of enthusiasm, you made contact with Furcus and delivered the letter. He read it in silence and responded that he was, quote, looking forward to Star Day, suggesting that something amenable would be happening in a matter of 2 days. Alrin delivered Furcus's response back to Carson, who seemed pleased with the response. In return, Carson provided some information about Mr. McKinty. That McKinty and his Black Hand thugs had left town, that they were intercepting supply ships from Verbo City, stealing cargo, causing trouble for the Crown and for Burne's Badgers and the Vanguard. Not the least of which is a dwindling supply of booze. The camp, said Carson, McKinty's camp that is, was somewhere along the river to the north. So with that information in hand, you returned to the brig to check in on Toblob. Xanthi was provided access to the goblin cell in the basement of the command center where the little guy was being held. He was in generally good spirits, as Toblob is often found. He was thrilled to see Xanthi and filled her in on his recent endeavors. He relayed a rumor that he'd heard about an attack, the theft of supplies, that there were people in town that had formed some kind of resistance to the Vanguard's occupation of Nulb. And the visit was cut short as Lieutenant Vol escorted Xanthi back to her friends outside. And Lieutenant Vol informed them that Burne would receive them in the morning and that they could take blankets and a tent for the night, making themselves comfortable amongst the soldiers, and that now that Burne's Badgers and the Vanguard were in town, the people of Nulb were safe. I guess we'll find out if that's the case, because as we rejoin the party, my friends, we find ourselves in camp. I would say that if you had something that you wanted to discuss or do prior to racking out, you could do that. If not, that's fine. We can move to the next day. But I'll give you guys a chance if you would like to take it to take care of any lingering business that you might take care of now that you're back in town after a multi-day journey from the outskirts of Twilight Falls and before that, the Thornhaven Outpost. So if there's anything you want to do, please let me know. You've got tents, you've got blankets, you've got a generally dry place to sleep, although the weather has turned a bit and there are flurries in the air, as I mentioned last week. A little bit of snow crystallizing on the air and floating into town. The air has grown cold as we're getting later into the months.
Well, I definitely think we should do watches because it's just been a long time with a lot of people trying to murder us.
I agree. I wouldn't feel right, even though we're surrounded by soldiers. I don't think I could sleep knowing not one of us was keeping an eye on things. You know, Alrin, you're new, but you kind of feel like one of us already. I mean, we're going to do this mission together, right? I mean...
Absolutely, and there's a lot of rumors flying around here. Then, you know, I don't believe in coincidence, and it seems like violence is inevitable. So, I think watch is a very good idea.
And who knows when they're going to run out of the booze? I mean, if that's tonight, maybe we don't want to be anywhere near this area. Should we be on the outskirts? I mean, should we just be like on the perimeter?
I don't know. It sounds like there's some kind of battle going on, and I would really not want to be between
not in the
that
south.
And the soldiers.
I don't want to be in the south. I mean, it's not very peaceful, right? They're still fighting.
And as we just learned, you know, there's bad guys holding up supply boats on the north, so that's also bad. So I don't know, maybe in the middle of everybody, like the more people around, the less likely somebody will do something nefarious by themselves.
We can
In
hope.
my experience soldiering, usually when the alcohol runs out, they don't just start randomly attacking tents. They're looking for somebody that's in charge of the alcohol being gone, and that's not going to be us sleeping in a tent.
That'll buy us some time to get away, right? That's what I'm hearing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Who knows?
Well-
If we go after these bad guys who are holding up the supply chains, maybe we will come into a bunch of alcohol.
Mhm.
Like, you know, like we'll have all of the alcohol shipments.
We could bring it in ourselves. Can you
We'd be
imagine?
heroes.
We'd have a lot of Riz. Also, you know, I got this necklace. I want to maybe use it, but I feel like if the alcohol's out, I might have less of a chance.
Oh, you don't need alcohol. You are the total package. You
Well,
just like find somebody you like and be like, you, me, over
I'm not-
there, and I bet it'll work.
I meant for me because they're all real
Oh.
dirty.
Well, right, you know, but like
It's on brand.
you gotta find somebody.
We got bigger problems than satisfying Nori right now, but it'll be really great to bring the alcohol in.
It can be
Sure.
on the list. It can be on the list of to do. We've got
Maybe
a
we'll
couple
go.
of things going on. That can be there.
Oh, is there a list? Should I make one? She pulls out her book. All right, so
So
I'll write
McKinsey,
down get alcohol from McKinsey and then Nori.
not necessarily in that order.
We said she's on the list.
Okay.
To do. Nori.
She's on the to-do list. Is that what I'm
That
hearing?
sounds good.
Wow.
And make sure there wasn't goblin in the stew.
Oh, I really hope they're not eating goblins. I don't
Supplies are
want to
running
eat
short.
anything that talks, that says hello, that looks adorable in handcuffs. It's not a good idea.
Making me worried about Toblob again. He's by himself in there.
I
Wonder when they're gonna let him go. They didn't really say, did they? They said
Well-
whenever they're done.
But maybe if we can finally get him to talk to Burne, then we can ask him to let Toblob go, or at least stay with us.
Having a Toblob looking out behind you wouldn't be the worst thing. I mean, he's a really good lurker.
Yeah, he
See, good
hides really
lurker.
well.
Well, okay, every once in a while things go wrong and you get caught by the authorities. We've all been there, right? But he's usually a pretty good lurker.
Yeah, most of the time I can't even tell that he's there until he answers me talking into the woods.
He pops his head out and says his name, and we haven't seen him. He's seen us.
It does seem to be his favorite word.
That would be mine
Toblob?
too if that was my name.
Well, if you have a lot of brothers and sisters, sometimes you just got to get your brand out there.
Yeah. And he
Tough world
is.
we live in. Yeah, it's true. So then watch, eh?
Yes, I think we should do watches, and then, then in the morning we try to find Burne again.
Oh yeah, that should be at the top of the list, right? I mean, of our list
Okay,
of
all right,
things.
all right. At the very, she squeezes it in. Find Burne.
You could put arrows too. I mean, who
Oh,
cares? It doesn't
okay.
need to be.
Oh.
Yeah. Find Burne. Find McKinsey. Get the alcohol.
Oh,
Please,
and rescue
Nori.
Toblob on the list.
All right, my friends. So you settle in for the night. You take a series of watches, splitting it up amongst the party. You can see that there are the glows of campfires burning in various locations. If we look back at the map, let's see if we have the map queued up. You can see that there are a couple of different kind of camp areas. You know, for example, there's a camp down here on the riverside, where there are a lot of tents over here as well, in sort of the main part of town. Those are sort of the main areas. There's some tents that are outside the command center and the Badger HQ, which I renamed. That used to be the Boatside Tavern, or the Boatman's Tavern. And so a lot of different areas where you could be camping, and that's not really that important. What's important is to know that there are a variety of other people camping. There are glows of campfires. There is the low drone of conversation. Every once in a while you hear the shout of some possibly drunk off-duty soldiers or guards, cutting loose, winding down or winding up, for that matter. Guess it depends on the individual. But you do get a sense that there is a presence here. You can hear the metal clamor of swordsmen in armor walking up and down the road that's not too far away from where you are. How that makes you feel, I guess I don't know. But well, actually, let me ask you, Nori. Let's start with you. How does Nori feel after coming back to Nulb with it so different and such a military presence? The sort of the chaos of the free love seemingly shut down, or at least underground, if you will. How's Nori doing?
Nori is comforted by the sound of the metal clanking in the military. It reminds her of her brother. It makes her sort of think that there's some things in her head that don't make sense. She's reminded of some gaps, so she's not super comfortable, but it is comforting, if that makes sense. She's surrounded by military, and I mean, her brother is military, so she thinks of him and feels warm in her heart.
Okay.
But she really did kind of hope that there was kind of more of a free love atmosphere when we were coming back here.
She kind of was figuring she was going to get lucky.
She thought maybe. She
We're
walked
not
in
talking
with
about
that
the
necklace
owl.
on.
Yeah.
No. Who's
What
probably
about,
injured somewhere.
What about Xanthi? Things are a lot different than last time you were here. How does Xanthi feel as you wind down at the end of this first day back in Nulb?
Seems kind of weird and a little bit oppressive. Before it was a little dangerous, but everybody's kind of living their own life, and now it's like a military occupied thing, and all the people that were kind of surviving on their own terms are now seeming to be repressed and depressed and generally not doing as well. So all of that has her a little bit worried. The fact that they, grabbed and locked up Toblob, who is just kind of a shifty little guy who liked to hide in bushes, but didn't harm anyone. Seems like maybe Burne's Badgers is not as good as she originally thought they were. Because back in Hamlet, she thought they were like the good guys, like really good people. And here, they seem to be having a poor effect on the townspeople.
That's good insight. How about with Alrin? Alrin, how do you feel after being, you've been around this a little bit longer than the others have, because you've been in town since it's been occupied, and I don't know if you'd been here before. Probably not, because I think you came here for the work that was at hand. But now that you've got, let's take it from a different angle with Alrin. You've encountered this group of travelers who seem to be pretty good with their wits and their steel. How are you feeling at the end of a first day with some maybe new companions, or at least some allies?
So Alrin, has been pretty much going at it by himself for several months, and been stuck in his head with a lot of his thoughts and the things that he's been working on and researching, and sort of overwhelmed at times, and just surviving, making some coin, finding out information. But, it's been a lonely road that he's been on for a while. And now that he has some companions that, seem trustworthy, friendly, capable in battle, he rests a little easier this night, laying down, just feeling like perhaps this is a good omen of things to get back on track and sort of get some things figured out that has been bothering him for a very long time.
Absolutely. And not to cut you off or jump in, but big shout out to the massive horde of raiders that just dropped in on us. Hey, everybody, welcome in. I see some familiar faces in this raider party. So thanks. Great to see you. Thanks a lot, Jay. I had the privilege of playing with Nuclear Meat over on Jay's channel the other day, and it was absolutely fantastic. So thank you for joining us tonight. I see some of the meats in the chat. How's that for a name of a party? Geesh, Nuclear Meat. Okay. Great to see you guys. Thank you so much. So the day comes to an end, and as you are all reflecting on this day, a much changed Nulb from what it was before in a variety of different ways and from a variety of different perspectives. To some, it feels like things are improving, perhaps to others. Certainly it feels as though there's a bit of a stifling presence, but nevertheless, it is what it is. And there is a new law in a place that for a long time didn't have a law. And that can be difficult for some to accept. But you do get the sense that at least for the time being, you're safe, and you take your watches throughout the night. You hear the low tones of conversations at nearby campfires, but you do make it through the night unmolested, and you will get a long rest, as it were. So the next morning, as promised, a Burne's Badger, a runner, comes to your camp, finds you amongst the other campsites, and as you are maybe taking your coffee, your pre-coffee coffee, as it were, this individual comes and says, "All right, you're Ulrin, yes, and the others. Master Burne is ready to see you this morning. When you're ready, I can escort you there."
Have you had Golden Shears coffee, young man?
Golden Shears coffee? I have not. I haven't had coffee in quite some time, actually.
Before you run off, please, I think my friends would like to.
So I came up with something that we can do because we didn't have cups last time. So Golden Shears iced coffee, and Xanthi will make a coffee cup out of iced coffee, like so an ice coffee cup, and then she'll put coffee in the cup of ice.
Drink it fast.
Iced coffee. Oh, yes, thank you.
There you go.
It's quite good. What roast is this?
Golden Shears.
The beans. I've tasted something similar in the Free City of Greyhawk once. Yes. From the Cairn Hills, possibly. Do you know where the beans are from?
Oh, it's a secret. I can't possibly give you my secret bean recipe.
It is rude of me to even ask. This is delicious. Well, best of luck to you with your coffee endeavors. Would you like to speak with Burne?
Oh, yes. I'll be right there. And Xanthi will turn around, go into the tent for a second, and cast extended mage armor on herself.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready. She comes out.
All right, so this Burne's Badger turns, sets the coffee mug down, and leads you back to the command center, where there are a pair of guards at the door. They step aside as you approach, different guards from when you were there the day prior, and you enter through the doors into what you remember as the Boatman's Tavern, which was a part tavern, part marketplace, kind of a supply shop. A lot of the fishermen and the riverboat captains, people that worked on the river, would get supplies here. As you recall, I think your friend your friend had purchased some items here. Your dwarven friend, I think, had also commissioned some work as well. But nevertheless, it is no longer the Boatman's Tavern. In fact, the individual that Lachlan had commissioned this small, intricate wooden box is no longer there. Skoll, as you learned, had been killed in a scuffle with the Vanguard as they had fought to take over the town. It has now been transformed into a command center, a part barracks. You walk through this rather empty main floor that now has bunks. It has weapon racks. It has supplies stocked in various locations, tidy but cluttered. You walk up the stairs following the Burne's Badger up to a second story. Through another set of doors, there are 2 more guards stationed at the top of the stairs who stand at attention as you walk in. And through a set of doors into what must have at some point been a bunk room, perhaps, of the lodging for this particular establishment. Inside, you see a man sitting at a table, poring over documents, and he stands as you enter, and you see Burne. He's tall. He has dark skin, dreaded hair that flows over his shoulders lengthwise. He wears these earth-toned robes, rather subdued, doesn't seem to be as flashy perhaps as he looked before, but he does have a platinum circlet that he wears around his head, which you remember from the last time that you met him. And he stands to look at you and says, "Oh, yes, please come. It has been so long. It's been weeks. Xanthi, Nori, and you, we haven't met." He comes over and he shakes all of your hands quickly. And as he shakes your hand, Xanthi, he kind of looks down and he just says, "The bracelet's gone."
Yeah, it's kind of was breaking anyway. And I got a really good deal on it, so I had to part with it.
Of course. And I didn't make your acquaintance, sir. Are you Alrin LaRaven?
I am indeed. I've been doing some work in the town.
I have heard Lieutenant Vol has spoken highly of your skills that you have brought to bear individuals such as Deadly Devon from the Rusty, with the Rusty Plunderers or some silly thing. Certainly no nuclear meat. Well, your friends, Norb, Lachlan, Desmond, where do they not join you? Do they still travel with you?
Well, I mean, no, they don't still travel with us. Unfortunately, Norb didn't make it out of the moat house. You did get our message, right? We sent a message back with Elmo to tell you that we cleared out the moat house and we had killed Lerth, the beautiful bastard.
Yes, of course. I do recall.
But unfortunately, our friend Norb died during the battle. And
he turns and just kind of walks to the other side of the room and looks out the window. I'm so sorry to hear that. It is never easy to lose a treasured friend. And that Norb, he was certainly special.
Yeah, I didn't know him very long, but he was very kind. I mean, he didn't really want to hurt anyone. But,
well,
yeah, and Lachlan, maybe adventuring isn't his thing. I don't know, but he felt like he missed the sea. So I think he's going to go back to being a sailor.
Well, it is difficult times here on the edge of the gnarly forest, and there are many things afoot across the Flanness that are troubling. I have no doubt that wherever your dwarven friend finds himself, he will do good for the ones that he loves. I had hoped perhaps Desmond would be joining us, but it seems as though he has other things to do this morning. I imagine we will see him. He's with you, yes? Vol said there were 4 of you.
I didn't see him leave, actually. Gosh, he's stealthy. I thought he would come with us, but you're right. Maybe he has something to do here.
Well, nevertheless, you're here now, and it's good to see you. I had worried perhaps that things had come to a terrible end for you and your group after the moat house not having heard from you, but there was word that you passed through Nulb and farther to the east, and I certainly didn't expect to see you back here. What has brought you back this way?
Well, so we headed north, and then we found out there was like this weird mushroom decay thing that was happening, and that there were lizard people that were going crazy up in Twilight Falls, and so we actually fixed that. We stopped this weird fungal incursion there, and then
We heard of a massive inferno in Twilight Falls that had burned some of the buildings and, well, put a halt on some of the illegal comings and goings of the Black Hand. Was that something that you had a hand in?
No, actually, no. I mean, we were there.
We were hand adjacent.
Kind of wrist.
So after
Kind of
we
wrist.
had helped out the town and saved them, then they tried to double cross us. But then in the middle of that, this third party showed up, and then they were burning things, and they were like an elemental creature, and like just being there, they started lighting everything on fire, and we like had to run out of town because it was all burning. But we tracked that guy, and then we put down the people that summoned these elemental creatures, and it turns out they were like these really bad cultists, and they were going to like end the world and bring this demon like from the other side, and anyway, we stopped an apocalypse up there, so you're welcome.
How many apocalypses can there be in 1 week? For gods be damned. I'm glad to see you alive. Please don't misunderstand my frustration for grumpiness. I didn't mean to have such an outburst, but here too at the temple to the south there has been activity. We arrived just in time. I had left Hamlet, as you know, to go to Verbo City and gather some of the crown's soldiers to come and leverage the might of the crown against the evil men and the gnolls that had been plaguing the countryside. We found that they had been planning something at the temple to raise something terrible, Zugatmoy, from her confines, from the chains that bound her to that place. It was not for the lives of many, including an adventuring party who arrived in the nick of time to delve deep into the temple to vanquish the cultists who sought to raise this Zugatmoy. They said that there was something else, writings and papers. I have them here amongst this pile. I'm still sorting through, but a creature named Anthraxis.
Oh yeah, we've heard of that.
Something that would have been leveraged to change the tide in this fight, to vanquish the righteous and release the evil upon the land, but it didn't happen. And
Yeah, that's what we stopped.
if this is true,
It kind of
and
looks like this, and she digs out the book and opens it up to the page of that beast, like pulling
terrible.
the other druid into the tree. See, like this.
The druids were involved in this. That is troubling
Well,
indeed.
Not all druids, but like this one druid like went kind of crazy and was like creating these elemental creatures, like the one that attacked Hamlet and killed Drew Ashstaff.
Yes.
So we took care of that.
We got a seed too. We got an Ipsy.
No, we don't have that anymore.
No, we got it though from there. Gave it to Willow.
We
No,
yes, we
I
gave
do not know
stuff
this,
to the other
Willow.
druid group up there, but
Well, if these two things are as connected as we believe them to be, then what you did to the north directly influenced what happened here, with the Red Crows having vanquished the cultists in the temple, and you and your party, Did you find a name for your party yet?
we're currently workshopping, but I've been calling us the Golden Shears.
The Golden Shears, and it's only taken you 50 sessions of gameplay to come up with this name. Well, you've put a lot of thought into it, I can tell. It is a good name. Well, with the Shears and the Crows in alliance, unwittingly, as it may be, you have helped to put down an emerging threat, indeed, but there is something more at stake here. It seems too coincidental. The Crows, as I mentioned, this adventuring party, they recovered someone from the temple itself, Prince Thrommel. Surely you've heard this name.
I've heard of the Red Crows, actually. Like, they're kind of a big deal, and I'm a little fangirling that we sort of assisted the Red Crows in their, liberation of stopping the apocalypse. But, we stopped our own apocalypse as well, so...
Well, they also found someone who had been missing for a number of years. 6 years, to be exact. Thrommel, the Marshal of Ferondi, the leader of the Righteous Host. Nora, you would definitely know this name, having fought at Emeryd Meadows, and the son of King Belvor IV, former prince, went missing in around 573, so about 6 years before this takes place. He had been found and returned at this point as Burne continues with the updates, returned to Verbo City. You can tell that he is very preoccupied, and he's pacing now, and as he's putting these things together, and he continues, there is something more at play here. It is not just this small part of the Flanness that seems to be boiling over. There are reports from the stone fists of an ancient blade of Korrisk having been recovered from the Tyval tundra. A blade of fable. A blade whose discovery is portent of other blades to be found, perhaps other omens. Orcs and hideous creatures amass in the howling hills to the north and along the shores of the Wise-Still Lake. War seems to be looming over much of the land, and it seems to be fomented by some unknown force. We are still trying to make sense of it, and perhaps there is more information amongst those who flee our grasp here in the Viscounty. Well, now I'm just rambling, but I do feel as though there's something looming just on the horizon. What do you intend to do with yourselves now that you've returned? Are you looking for work?
Well, we are looking for work, but in fact, we would like to suggest for you a job that might be worth hiring us for. We would like to solve your problem of people interfering with the goods that are coming into town, because we hear you have a supply issue.
Ah, yes. Indeed we do. There are supplies that should have been here days ago from Verbobonk. We've sent one of our best mercenaries and hunters, Tomiris, to see if they could track this down, but we have not heard word from them. We've sent them north. We have new intel that just came in, that there's perhaps some of the populace here still loyal to the Black Hand, perhaps plotting something. Indeed, if you believe that you could reopen the supply route, this could be very beneficial to keeping the peace here. I'm sure you're well aware of the tensions that are growing around town.
And if we did this for you, would it be worth some kind of compensation?
Of course it would. It would be worth compensation, and it would be worth favor with Burne and the Badgers, with the Crown, with the Vanguard, with the good peoples of the region. Nulb and Hamlet together could, in the coming months, as the tensions across the Finesse boil, serve to hold back the chaos. We cannot lose our grip here to chaos and, well, resistance. Yes, you will be compensated for your work. I will spare no expense. If you need a boat to head upriver, I have it for you. If you need arms, I have them for you. I will send my best trackers with you, should you want them. If you can capture this McKinty and bring them to justice, this would bode well. Yes, Alrin, please.
There is specifically a scout that we could use that apparently found himself wandering around the outside of town looking for us and got nabbed up. And I was wondering if perhaps we could use him in our journey to help you.
Of course. Who is this scout that you speak of?
Our friend Toblob, this
Right.
little goblin man that, he's good at finding information, but sometimes he gets a little nervous and he got snatched up looking like he was trouble. He is not trouble, I assure you. He's got
just
lots of stories
awkward.
and mildly awkward, but is valuable partner.
Where is this scout now?
Well, he was thrown in the brig for his awkwardness.
This shall be remedied immediately. And he gets up and he opens the door and he says, "The goblin Toblob shall be released immediately," he says to one of the guards outside. And they say, "Yes, sir, of course, sir. We'll be on it right away, sir. We'll get going then." And you hear the clatter of one of the guards heading down the stairs.
All right. I guess we should decide if we want to go by boat or if we want to sneak up in the bushes.
I believe these to be plans that you can make on your own. I have much to attend to, of course, as you can imagine. This is no easy task keeping this together at this moment. There's still fighting to the south around the ruins of the temple. There are all manner of evil men, gnolls, orcs, goblins in the countryside wreaking havoc on some of the homesteaders. We're doing our best to patrol them without dwindling our forces here. There are other more dangerous creatures afoot as well. I bid you take great care in this quest. Know that it is of great consequence, but also comes with great danger. The forces of the temple have been vanquished and thrown out, but not all of them have been killed. They are bloodthirsty for revenge, as you can imagine. Do take care. Protect yourselves. He looks at you, Xanthi. You are a special one. Protect yourself.
Oh,
When
you're
you've
special too.
I've been told that before. When you've completed your task, return to Lieutenant Vol and you will be paid.
All right, we're going to solve your problems.
We wish
would
you good
be-
fortune in the south.
Thank you.
Hope the battle goes accordingly.
I believe the battle itself will wind to a close to the south, but once the fighting ends, the governing begins. And I do fear for the sentiments of the people here in Nulb. Things go well in Hamlet. I can let you know that the Lady Shiral has taken up the grove in the tradition of Jeru Ashstaff. The town is rebuilding after the attack. I know what you did for the village during that moment as well, and the people there still speak of your heroism.
Just on a side note, if you ever see the Red Crows, could you just tell them how cool we are? You know, like that we are helping out on our side, like we're, you know, like the B team to their A team.
Well, I can tell you this, unequivocally, you have the Riz. Well then, it is early in the day, but there is much to do. Gather your supplies, remedy this problem, and I will see you when you return, and hopefully by then we will have a moment to discuss our stories and reminisce for our lost brothers and sisters.
Oh, by the way, Spug died.
Shit.
You said reminisce, and I thought I should throw that in there too.
Yeah, it's really bringing it down a notch. Another notch.
We were gonna leave on a high note here, and you ruined it, Xanthi.
I'm sorry.
You didn't quite read the room, but that's okay.
Okay, I'll go.
I shake his hand and wander out. Did we notice either Furcus or anyone that seemed to their eyes linger on us a little longer than we would expect while coming in or when we leave?
Hey, Korg, thanks for the follow. Appreciate you. I got to play a little D&D with Korg over the weekend. Give me Vamp, Alrin, give me a perception check with that monstrous die. Don't hurt yourself.
Yeah, that's a big no.
What'd you roll?
7.
Okay.
4 on the die, 7.
All right. Yeah, you don't see Furcus, and you don't get the sense that anybody's paying. I mean, people are definitely paying attention to you. Like the guards are watching you as you enter. The guards are, at attention. They're not gawking at you. They're not looking at you, salaciously or anything like that. But they are taking note of you. They are on the clock, and they are good. Like these guys are not. These are not bozo mooks from down the block. These guys are well trained and well paid Burns Badgers, and well supplied it seems as well. So, but yeah, you don't see it. You don't see Furcus. Furcus doesn't happen to be there. So you head back down the stairs, accompanied by one of the guards who just kind of guides you back down. You can hear that there are conversations going on in the main room. As you pass through, you look back and you can see that there are a couple of guards, men and women, dwarves, some gnomes, some humans, and they seem to be, gathering some supplies, some swords and some shields in particular, and kind of, making sure everything's sharpened and oiled. As you walk back out into the fresh air of Nulb, you can smell the scent of the Glasvoke Marsh as the wind blows from the northeast towards town, towards the river, and it kind of brings with it this sort of damp, sort of earthy, fetid air. Where do you intend to go next, my friends, as you depart the HQ?
Okay, huddle up. We need to have a plan because, like Burne said, he would finance our expedition, but we have to decide, do we need a boat? Do we want to, just, track it up and like surprise them? Do we want a decoy boat that we follow and then they attack the boat and we attack them while they're attacking the boats? Like, I don't know. What do you want to do?
I feel like a boat might be pretty visible, decoy boat or our boat. But I don't know how long it would take to get up there. And like Burne said, there's probably a bunch of, all kinds of weird, bad monsters out in the woods right now. Might be good to be on the boat. For at least for most of the way.
Maybe Toblob knows some information about how far these guys might be. He seemed to have a little bit more than he was spouting out.
Toblob? And as you say that, you see this little goblin, this scrawny little goblin guy running down the road, no manacles. He just kind of jumps up in the air and clicks his heels together as he drops down, and he goes, "Toblob, that's me. I'm out.
Toblob is free."
We all run to hug him.
Oh, don't squeeze too hard. Toblob's
we're
tiny.
squeezing pretty hard.
Ah!
Well, she's a gnome, so she's probably about the same size,
We're
right?
very strong.
Yeah, but she's tough. You give him a really tight squeeze and you hear a little, "Oh, excuse me."
It's okay. It's okay. I'm sure the food was terrible in there.
Actually, I got pretty well fed in there. Toblob ate bread, drank water. It was great.
Oh, and I left you that ration.
Well, that was really good.
Yeah. Toblob, we would like to hire you to come with us to do hero work in the forest. And we will pay you in food.
And coffee. And maybe alcohol, eventually. If you're
Okay,
into that.
Toblob will accept the job. Let's see. Toblob likes to eat. Toblob likes booze. Is there any coin involved? Because Toblob also could use a little coin. I'm working on some investment property.
Well,
Where?
it depends on if we get coins from this. So we are hoping that we will acquire some coin from the job and then possibly get paid for having done the job. So, like, maybe get paid twice.
We'll cut you in. Your work
Toblob's
is
in.
valuable.
Yeah. Okay. What exactly is my job? What do you want Toblob to do?
You know how you're really good at, hiding and listening?
Oh, yeah, I never get caught.
Well, we all get caught. Nobody is shaming you for what happened.
Mm-mm.
But we're gonna need you to do that again.
Get caught?
What else do we need? No.
No.
Listen.
No, please don't get
Hide.
caught.
Oh,
But so
Look. Watch.
We're going to go north up the river.
Ooh, that sounds dangerous.
Right. So we would like you to let us know, anything dangerous along the river, or the side of it, or in the river, that we should be aware of.
Mm.
And, that way we know what to avoid and what to attack.
Okay, and then when you get back, Toblob will see you then.
No, that's
Has
your
Toblob
job.
been up the river?
Oh, I mean, well, not really. Toblob has spent a lot of time to the south. Toblob likes to spend time to the south, where some of his friends live, but he hasn't seen his friends in a long time. And they were all going in on this warren, and I wanted to buy a little condo, and I didn't have the coin, and well, Toblob needs some coin, and well, here's what I can tell you about the river. It's very dangerous. You could drown.
That is what water does.
What else? What else do you know about the river?
Big
Anything?
big fish. If you're swimming, they might nip at your bits.
I'll lean in a bit and be like, do you know anything about the supplies?
Oh! Toblob's heard a few things. Toblob has definitely heard a few things. Well, there's the Black Hand. Remember that old Goblin Queen? She was tied up with them. Then they kind of ran the show around here in Nulb. Well, Toblob was keeping an eye on things. Toblob knows that before the Vanguard arrived here, a bunch of them Black Hand honchos went north on the river. Squint, you know, the one that's always like this? Probably needs glasses. McKinty, the big guy who always sweats. And others.
Must be a problem if Toblob mentioned that he's sweaty.
Yeah, you don't want to get too close.
Did they say how far they were going or like a landmark they were?
They didn't say anything to Toblob. But if anybody's disrupting the supply chain, I'll tell you what, it's probably those guys. And it's probably really freaking dangerous.
Right. So we need to surprise those guys.
Hey, Scarpy.
So, what do you think? Like, should we sneak up on them on the side of the river, like going through the forest? Or should we go north in a boat and then wait for them to try to ambush us, but we will reverse ambush them?
Mm. Oh, you're asking Toblob?
Yeah!
Oh, well, you're less likely to drown if you're in the woods. I don't swim too well. I don't swim at all.
All right. I think we need to go in the woods to reconnaissance this. Find out where they're hiding.
Okay, so we're gonna sneak up all the way there.
Right.
so-
And maybe we
think
could
it's
also
the
get an
best.
additional guide who has been north of the river, since that was offered.
We'll take what we can get, whatever he's offering. I mean, not a big force. That would probably be detrimental to our plan, but
I just think
One.
like one person who
Mhm.
is really good about tracking in nature.
let's make sure to specify really good.
Like, has been in this forest before.
Has experience north of here.
Also,
all we need.
Toblov, stop skulking around the city.
I mean, skulking is Toblob's specialty.
I don't want to have to get you out of jail again.
Well, I appreciate that. I did make some new friends, though.
Who
Like the
are
guards.
these new friends? Oh, the guards' friends. Who are your old friends? Were they other goblins?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Were they're good goblins, like goblins that maybe broke off from the Goblin Queen?
Well, I mean, good is it's subjective. There's Warrel, Faft, Riz, Runk, Stonk, Brint. They're all good guys. Et, Stax, Cluh. I mean, they get into some trouble sometimes, but Toblob got into trouble a couple times. Not big trouble, Beetle got into a bunch of trouble once. But they changed their ways. They found God. I don't know which one.
Was it the spider one?
I don't know.
Because that one is not good.
Hmm.
She'll just like look over at Allred and go, no reason. Well, all right. So we need to find a guide. So we'll ask for that and then find out where Dad's went I mean, I'm sure he's taking care of personal business and stuff because he's, you know, like he's really stealthy and all. So I'm sure he'll be back soon.
Did he have too much of that coffee yesterday? That could be a problem too.
Coffee bender.
I mean, he usually can hold his coffee.
I mean, if there's not enough alcohol here, I didn't see how much coffee he drank. Might have been too much.
He should know his tolerance with Golden Shears, you would think. But
Right, we've been
Who's to
drinking
say?
it for a while.
I mean, he's probably looking for his brother, right? That would be a good assumption.
Right.
I mean, that's what he wanted to do here.
Yeah, yes, I guess.
And he's,
I
you know, he
mean,
has connections that maybe we would get in the way of. I hope he shows up before we go, but if he doesn't,
I mean, have you heard of a person who lived around this area named Jack?
I don't believe I have. No, not in my travels.
Okay. I mean,
I've only been here a short time.
okay. Yeah, somebody said he had gone through town, or so I don't know if he was living here or not, but and maybe he has a really super cool nickname now. But yeah, we haven't been able to locate him.
well, if he's, you know, sneaky like Des, he might be extra difficult to find on purpose too. Maybe someone like Des is the only one that would be able to find him. Or know who he was. What if his brother also got turned into an old man? Des would not know.
That would be a very odd coincidence.
That would be a terrible luck for that family, right?
Oh, sorry, Elred, you wouldn't know, but for a while Des was cursed and he looked really old. But
Oh.
now he's better.
Just recently.
Yeah,
got
very
better.
recently.
I mean, he could be out just doing jumping jacks in the forest right now, enjoying this cardiovascular fitness that he probably now possesses again.
He also mentioned that he was talking with somebody in the woods before you guys came to this city. I don't know what that was about. Is that dangerous, or is that something he might go try to find information about?
Oh,
Some beautiful man in the woods or something? I don't know.
Who doesn't need beautiful men in the woods?
It's true.
But
It's true.
that's a friend of our group. It's not a big deal.
As you guys are having this conversation, two things. You notice that Toblob is suddenly not there. And you also notice that Lieutenant Vol is walking towards you. I've been given notice from the command center to supply you with whatever you need for your journey. It sounds like you're heading out then, Ulrin, is this correct? With
Yep.
your new partners
Yes.
after McKinty. I have a
Yep.
boat at the ready with a pilot if that's something that you would need. Otherwise, what supplies do you need? Weapons? Do you need weapons? Do you need garments for the coming cold winter?
We
What
could
do
use
you-
some garments and probably some rope.
We have plenty of rope. Interestingly, it always comes in 50-foot lengths.
Just how things are.
Well, it's
It's always been that way.
Rope store.
Right, the 50-foot rope factory that only makes the 50-foot increments.
Speaking of 50 feet, we're also looking for a man who might a ranger of some sort that might help us north. They need to be experienced, though, up north.
Yeah, like
Know the
know
way
the
around.
area. Maybe have been there before.
Certainly, I'll put in a
Just one.
request with the Green Jerkin Rangers. There seems to be a handful of them still milling about town, running various jobs and whatnot. But I'm thinking of one in particular, an individual named Dusk. I'll see if they're available to accompany you. They spent a considerable amount of time to the north. Has worked with one of our more accomplished mercenaries, a hunter named Tomiris. If I can get Dusk to help you, then perhaps not only could you seek out this McKinty fellow, but if there's a means of finding out what happened to Tomiris, that would be helpful. Their presence has been missed here in the last few days. Nevertheless, I will have words with the Green Jerkins. And where shall I send your guide?
Well, I don't know. Should we hang out at the inn?
What kind of time frame would we be talking? When would we be expecting this guide to
I can
find
have
us?
word within minutes.
Oh.
When do you intend to leave?
What time is it right now? Is it
Please tell me today.
as soon as possible?
Oh yeah. As soon as we have
Once we get everything we need.
as soon as we have our eyes. Yeah.
Very well.
We'll head to the docks.
I will have a guide there for you, whether it's this Dusk character or another, but there will be someone there, mark my word. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Stay safe in the city.
Indeed. He turns and hurries off, leaving the three of you. At this point, we'll say that Desmond rejoins the group, and you have some time to gather what supplies you might need. There is a quartermaster type individual who has some goods at the command center. So if there are specific things that you might be looking for, they may have them there. Specifically, if there's something off of the main equipment list in the player's manual that makes sense, they probably have that available to you. We're going to go ahead and take an early break here in just a couple of minutes, but we'll say that when as you prepare these things and make your way down to the docks is where we'll pick up when we come back from our break. And hopefully there'll be a guide there. Do you guys intend to go by foot, or are you going to take advantage of a sailing craft?
That's what I wanted to ask you guys again. We took advice from someone who can't swim and is afraid of the water. I mean, maybe we should get a boat.
If we take a boat, we should know that they're gonna jump us at some point. So either, we should, have a decoy or be hiding ready to attack them. Like maybe we could make a couple of dummies as, people standing on the, near the edge so that they're the ones who get blasted or shot when they attack instead of us.
All interesting ideas to ponder as we jump to our break. We'll come back presumably with a plan on how we're going to get upriver, and we'll start there. So thank you to everyone who's been hanging out with us. Thanks to all the raiders from Lord Gazumba's channel. Hope you enjoyed the show over there, and thank you all for joining us and hanging out with us for a bit. We appreciate it. We're going to take just a quick break, but we will be back shortly. So hang out, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you very much. Hey, everybody, we're back. It's us. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. And thanks to this awesome group of players and Andy for being here week after week playing this game. I can't believe this is our 50th Heroes of Greyhawk session in this new adventure, this new chapter, I guess, in our overall campaign that's been going on for 3 years. So I'm glad that you guys are all part of it. And have been part of it on various capacities for the last couple of years. So thank you for that. All right, we're going to get back into this, my friends, as you make preparations to depart, gathering if you need supplies from the supply depot. You can do that. There is not much by way of booze. Of course, we already know that. The food supplies are a bit low as well. Anything that would have been brought by boat has seemingly been cut off, and that's part of the reason why you are going on this mission that you have been tasked with to set off upriver, up the Imeryd run, to attempt to find out what the hell's going on, perhaps engage with anyone who might be getting in the way of the supply routes. You find yourselves at the docks. There's a small sailing vessel. It's large enough for the 4 of you. There is a pilot. There is a crewmate. Both of them human. They don't talk much. They kind of keep to themselves. They are all business. You get the sense that maybe they've been around for a long time. So what kind of stories they have, or where they've been, or what they've done, you do get a sense that they know the river, and they know this boat very well. The boat has a name painted on the side, Matilda. The pilot, who I suppose could pass as a captain, just, welcome, make yourselves at home. Just load your gear right there and try not to get in the way. We'll try to get you back safe. Don't get us killed. Don't get me and my mate killed. He doesn't say much, the boy. You look over and there's a strapping young man, just ripped, shirt off, just like pulling cargo on, lashing things to the boat, prepping things. He looks to be in his mid to late teens, probably some sort of an apprentice, perhaps, maybe the son of this guy. Anyone else coming then? It's just the 4 of you.
It's the 4 of us, and I'm making this decoy. And she's grabbed an extra set of clothing and like makes basically this scarecrow kind of thing of a crew member. Like, maybe it looks like they're fishing, but the lure doesn't go all the way to the water. And like with a bucket hat pulled down low, just in case, because like we heard that there might be people that are attacking the boats. So we wanted to, like, if they're going to try to attack somebody, that they'll attack, our good friend here. And she pats the little dummy on the shoulder, as opposed to one of us. So hopefully we'll see that, and then we will not get attacked, right?
Well, isn't that the cutest thing you have ever seen? And you all turn around and you see this short human woman in this black cloak. She has a red bandana tied around her head. You can see that she's got 2 swords in scabbards at her waist. She says, "The name's Dusk. I've been assigned as your scout and guide. Permission to come aboard, Captain?" Yes, come on. Just watch your step there, miss, and if anybody attacks the old Matilda, we'll all have them in shanks, I'll tell you that. And he kind of pulls back he has this like vest, this leather vest that's all kind of like cracked from the sun. And he pulls it back and you can see that he's got a sizable, it's almost too big to even be called a knife, but it's like a big, like kind of Crocodile Dundee style knife on his belt. All right, then. You ready to set off, then? Is that it? Anything else you need me doing?
We got our rope on board. The extra.
Yeah, there's 50 feet there.
Excellent.
Do we have like a hook type thing? Like if we need to, I'm sure that's on the boat, right? Like if we need to throw it to the shore quick and pull ourselves in. That stuff's on here.
Yeah, you got all that stuff. We got hooks and crooks and spokes and all that good stuff.
Okay.
From what I understand, this is dusk. The troubles have been but a day's journey to the north. There were some survivors from the last shipment that made their way back to Nulb by foot. Said that they were attacked in the night. Gnolls, orcs. And they heard some speaking with accents of unrecognizable. Speaking in common, but with a strange dialect. But nevertheless, I've spent quite a bit of time in the forest to the north of here, not on the river like these two. She looks over at the pilot and the younger boy. But I'll be of service to you. I've been assigned by Lieutenant Vol. I've spent time in service to the Green Jerkin Rangers over the years, and, well, I've ventured throughout much of the forest, so I'm here to help.
You are most welcome, Dusk. We're
Yeah,
glad
we're
to have
glad-
you here.
We're glad to have you here. Is there any place that you can think of? Hey, this might be a really good ambush place. If I were attacking boats on the river.
Yes, any of the riverside camping sites, the established portages and beaches, where typically the cargo ships will stop at night. Not many ships will pilot the waters after dark. It is quite treacherous in spots, and there are some rapids that can cause a bit of difficulty. But yes, my guess is that any of those camping areas would be an ideal location to ambush merchants.
You think they're ambushing people when they stop for the night?
It's possible. Seems the easiest, perhaps. The ones that survived and made their way back said that they were attacked in the night, so I assume perhaps that's what happened.
So we
All
should
right.
set up and secure ourselves before dusk, right?
Perhaps.
All
All right, then, it's time to go. If we're gonna get it, we're gonna get it now. All aboard. And as the four of you and Desmond climb aboard the ship, stowing your gear, you take one last look around to see if your little green friend might be joining you. But you don't
He's
see
not
him.
really very reliable, is he?
Well, we didn't exactly give him a time to show up or when we were leaving.
Suppose. Well,
He just
he always
disappeared.
seems to find us, so maybe he'll
true.
be able to catch up with us later.
Maybe
If we
tonight
get
when we're
back-
camped.
If we get back and he's back in jail, I don't know what I'm gonna say about that.
Well, it's not really his fault then. It just means that, the townspeople keep arresting him.
Maybe they'll give him a wider window, knowing that maybe he's working for us.
We should give him a name patch that says, "Hello, my name is Toblob, I am your friend." Something like that. Like, I'm not a bad guy.
Or a
Something.
patch of the Golden Shear.
Well, we are
We
still
should.
working on our branding, and not everybody recognizes what that means.
We need 50 more, I guess.
Well, it's because it's hidden inside the glove. I mean, if we start, I know this is kind of a weird idea based on the Black Hand situation, but if we started tattooing those golden shears on like a part of our body, A visible part?
Like a face tattoo?
Well, no, I wasn't thinking face. And then we can't do hand, obviously, so
Perhaps ankle.
kneecap.
Ankle tattoos are all the rage these days.
We could make it like a bracelet. With a little... Let's workshop this.
Well, we already have, like, the matching necklaces.
That's true, we do. Oh, it's another thing we gotta do.
Yeah. They were a gift.
It's a whole thing, really.
Mm-hmm. We'll tell you about this later.
Yeah.
As you set out from the docks, it is a cool, crisp day. You have supplied yourself with warm or cold weather clothing, so you can add that to your inventory at some point. You pull your overcoats tightly as the wind kind of catches the sail, and the boat leaves the protection of the small cove at Nulb and heads north, flowing with the river towards the larger rivers to the north. This being, of course, a tributary to the Velverdiva. It's a rather beautiful, albeit crisp day. The sky is blue. Very few clouds in the sky. As you leave, you can see that quickly the town of Nulb is left behind, and it just becomes a wild river. It is wide and steady flowing for the most part. There are areas where there are some exposed rock and some small rapids that are navigable with the expertise of your captain and his first mate. Your guide, your scout, stands at the front of the ship, kind of keeping an eye on things as Desmond sits in a trance-like state, his owl Lucky flying up overhead, just within eye shot as it just kind of soars back and forth, keeping pace with the small vessel. And this is, you look around and there is no like below decks. It is kind of a barge kind of vibe to it. It does have like a prow. It is probably at its widest about 10 feet wide, so it's fairly cramped conditions. There is like a little pilot house where the captain and others can, in inclement weather, get underneath a bit of a canopy that's this tarp. It's kind of a tarpaulin canopy made of canvas that sort of like flaps. It's got some frayed edges and some holes in it. It looks like it's due for some upkeep. But you can look around, you can see that the hull of the ship and the deck is well kept. It appears to be a very fine and valued tool for this guy. And he's often, as you might look over at him and he's working, you often think he's talking to the first mate, but oftentimes he seems to be talking to himself quite a bit, or perhaps he's talking to the boat itself, talking to Matilda. And for the most part, the day as you venture north is fairly calm. There's a bit of a breeze. I would like Ulrin to give me a D12 roll, please.
That is a 9.
Okay, so the first couple of hours go unmolested. You know, Desmond is just kind of like calling things out as Lucky is flying overhead. Nothing to be alarmed of at all. There are some snacks that are passed around, you know, about midday, as you probably got out of port about mid-morning. Right around the noonish, maybe just slightly after noon, as you're kind of finishing up your snack, Desmond says there's something in the trees. And as those words come out of his mouth, you hear this telltale sound of arrows flying through the air. And you look and you can see that they're coming from off of the starboard side of the boat. And you look off to the right along the bank and you don't see anything. Give me quick perception rolls, please.
$17.
17.
5.
All right.
Looking
All
the
right,
other
you
way.
look and you do not. You do
Looking
not
where
see
the arrows
anything.
are going.
You can see where they're coming from for the most part, but what did you get, Nori?
17.
Both of you got 17? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, you look over and you can see both Nori and Xanthi look up, and you can see what appear to be figures that pop out of blinds along the river and start flinging arrows. They're not particularly well aimed, or maybe they're just out of range because they're not coming at you very closely. Let's see, I'm going to roll with disadvantage. Yeah, they're missing you. They're flying past you, or they're landing short of you into the water, and then just floating down the river as you continue on. What do you do?
Are they trying to make us go to the other side? Because, you know, like, naturally, like, you would want to be out of range. I'm gonna look to see if there's anything on the opposite side of the river, or, like, rapids that they're, like, would be trying to divert us into.
How
for
wide is
being
this
such
river, by the
bad
way?
shots.
The river at this point is probably about 40 to 50 feet
Oh,
wide.
so they could hit us no matter what.
Well, you're kind of coming at them, like you're moving down the river towards, they're firing at you from ahead of you. So presumably as you get closer, you're going to be in range.
Eldritch Blast.
Give me an attack roll.
It's got a great range.
It's like 120 feet, isn't it?
Yep. 18.
They are in, they do have the benefit of concealment. You light up a section of forest where you saw someone pop up and shoot and duck down, but you don't hear, you don't know if you hit anything.
Do you want damage anyway? Or no?
Yeah, go ahead and roll some damage.
Okay, so that was a 9 damage.
Yeah, you shake the trees, any leaves that are still on the trees like fall away and float down to the river, and it just kind of lights things up.
Nori's gonna shout, "There's more where that came from!" And then kind of get low again.
What are the rest of you doing?
I'm going to hold action until I see, like, like a tough guy, as opposed to, like, these guys who are shooting arrows. I'm not even sure if they're just trying to distract us, or, like, kind of herd us into a place. And if we're too tough right away, I'm worried that they might just run.
Okay.
So
And live.
holding a firebolt for something truly deadly.
Okay, what about you, Alrin?
I would like to use minor illusion and make the sound of a scream from in the woods a little closer to where we are.
Okay, within range of
Like
the spell? Like at the edge of the range? Yeah.
Yeah, it's got 30-foot range, so just inside some wood, inside the bushes or something, like a nasty, like, scream.
Okay. All right. You do so. You all hear this scream erupt from the bank of the river. Uncertain what that was, unless Alrin gave you a heads up. But a couple more shots come as you're getting closer. And one of them hits the wood of the deck, and you hear the captain. There's Matilda. And he just kind of shouts unintelligibly as he grabs the rudder and kind of steers the ship a little bit farther towards the other bank. And a couple more arrows, they start to hit the dummy in the front of the boat. And more arrows come flying in.
Xanthi's gonna yell out, "Oh God, I've been hit with arrows!"
Well, I could use minor illusion to make that yell. Ah!
Dusk starts taking shots as well. She has a longbow, and she's taking shots into the forest. And you kind of go past, and now you're probably within 30 feet as you're going past where you think they are, and a couple of heads pop up and take a couple shots at you. I'm gonna roll one on each of you. So this one will be on Alrin. That's gonna be a 18 to hit.
That hits unless I've got cover, which I hope I do.
Tell me, what would you have taken cover behind?
I mean, I would be, if nothing else, sitting down, so I'm not just standing up.
Okay.
I'm a target!
All right, so we'll say that you are going to benefit from 3/4 cover, which would add 5 to your AC.
That would give me a 19.
Okay. What did I say? 19.
8. You said 18.
I said 18. So that misses. This one is going to come at Xanthi. Ooh, that's a natural 20 on the die.
Oh,
Xanthi,
okay.
you are hit by an arrow. And it does 2 points of piercing damage. It just barely nicks you. Nori, that is going to be a 16 to hit.
Nope.
All right.
Does not hit.
And we'll say this one is on Dusk, and that misses with a 5 on the die. You guys all have an opportunity to react. Now you can see these individuals have popped up, and the boat is moving past pretty quick at this point. You can see the young first mate has a pole out, and he is at the front of the boat, like pushing off of rocks that are coming to try to keep the boat moving so they don't get hung up on rocks. Let's just go. We'll go around without initiative at the moment. Alrin, what are you doing?
I'm not planning on attacking back. I'm hoping we just get by him.
Okay.
I'm not gonna break
You want to
out my
help
high-level spells.
you want to provide some assistance to the first mate up front?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a D20 roll. Give me a wisdom roll.
Ah, my favorite stat. It's a 17 on the die.
That's pretty good. Yeah, you're like pointing out rocks and he's pushing away with this long pole. Xanthi, what are you doing after you get just nicked by this arrow?
She is going to pull out her crossbow, which she never uses, and fire that at one of the people like off the side of the boat, right?
All right.
Because again, like she doesn't want to appear like we're too heavily armed. Because I can't imagine that this is all it took to take down the supply routes. Just a couple of people shooting
Hey,
arrows
thanks
from
for
the
the
shore.
follow. Ephemeral Dragon, thank you. Yeah, give me a roll. Give me an attack roll, please, Xanthi. Thanks for the follow, you guys. We really appreciate it.
9.
9, yeah.
I use this crossbow all the time.
Yep, you take a shot. The bolt goes flying into the trees, but you're not really sure if you hit anything. Nori.
Can I see these people?
Yeah, you see them pop up, and they've got some longbows, and they're just loosing arrows and then ducking down, but you do have a chance to take a shot.
Okay, I'll take a shot.
Yo.
I was looking to get some kind of description of them. You know, like,
Oh, give me a perception check.
okay. 8.
They are cloaked, and they are in shadow, and it's really hard to tell. They're kind of silhouetted as they're taking shots, and then they duck back down. So it's not like they're standing there like sizing you up. They're just popping up, taking a shot, and ducking down. But you have an opportunity to try to hit them if you want to.
Okay. I tried. I hit 14 armor class with an Eldritch Blast.
Okay, yeah, another blast of eldritch energy in the trees, and it kind of sends vegetation going everywhere. You hear from the trees, and at that point, the boat just kind of continues on with Alrin in the front pointing out rocks, and this young teenage boy pushing off with the stick to keep the boat moving. The captain navigating Matilda through this rocky area. Dusk and the rest of you on the side of the boat flinging arrows and bolts and eldritch blasts, and you happen to go past. There's a couple of shots that come, but they land in the water next to the boat as you get just out of range and continue on. Thank you, Doc Shoulder. Appreciate you. Everybody's got an advantage. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And just so other people who are new to the channel know, we do have advantage. I think that's it. You can donate bits to provide. I can't remember what the advan. I don't know. Is that it? Nope. There we go. Bits. To provide an advantage for our players or the GM if you would like to get involved with the game and influence the die rolls. Okay, so you guys are just out of range and you continue on, feeling for the moment safe. Perhaps.
Was that it?
I just saw two guys.
I mean, we could certainly stop and go and round them up.
They were probably scouts taking note of our defenses, perhaps eyeing up and sizing up the significance of the cargo.
They were just an appetizer.
Perhaps.
All right. Maybe we'll
Hopefully
get them on the way back.
Hopefully they don't go tell anyone that we're coming.
I believe
they're
that
gonna
is
move as fast as we are.
Well, aren't we
likely.
stopping for the night?
Do not underestimate these riverboat pirates. They have been doing this for quite some time.
Well, we should keep an eye out. I'm
Indeed.
thinking that these are scouts, and so they're going to tell them how tough we are. And, you know, like having one, like magic user on a boat usually means that there's something really good, right? Because you would have to hire somebody who is like good at defense, but it only seems like there was the one, right?
Indeed, if
So-
you were to draw them out, this could be it. Perhaps we should make landfall later at one of the campsites up ahead. Perhaps we can draw them out even more. Or we continue on and camp in the evening. I will leave it up to you, but I do agree with Xanthi. I believe that they are sizing up our defenses.
All right. Well, I think we should go forward. Like we're going to go camp somewhere, but keep our eyes out that we might be ambushed on the river, or we might be ambushed after we try to set up camp for the night.
You watch as Dusk walks over and pulls one of the arrows out of the decking of the boat, pulls it out, and she looks at the fletching and she's like, "This is fine craftsmanship, this arrow," and she holds it over to Alrin to take a look at. She hands it to you, and you give me an investigation check, Alrin. Hey, we got a hype train almost. What's going on here? Thank you so
Yeah.
much, Burly Year. Appreciate you. Emerald Dragon, you guys are awesome. Doc Shoulder, thank you so much, you guys, for hanging out with us. What'd you get?
Nat 20 for a 27.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Very nice. Holy shit. Okay,
Makes up for
27.
my previous single-digit rolls.
So, a couple of things. You know right away that this is a finely crafted arrow, it doesn't really add up with the level of skill of the archers, because you kind of get the sense that they were, maybe the recruits or the new guys or something. But these arrows are very nice. In fact, you have seen these arrows before on some of the soldiers that have been killed in the battles around Nulb. And we're talking about some of the brigands and evil men who have fought for the likes of Lareth the Beautiful and some of the, I guess you could call them, cultists of the temple. The feathers are fletched in such a way as though they almost have a pattern of flame. So your guess is that they're somehow tied perhaps to the temple of the fire elemental. Many of who fell in the battlefields outside of the temple to the south of Nulb. Hey, thanks for the sub earlier. Appreciate you. So you get a lot of information out of that as you sort of study this arrow. Do you share that with your companions?
Absolutely.
All right.
You know, pulling a couple out of the scarecrow.
Mm-hmm.
Good work. Good work.
She pats the scarecrow on the shoulder. Good job, buddy.
Prestidigitation to fix up the holes a little bit. Just like new.
So you continue on downriver, the water, or the river, excuse me, narrowing a bit, the water beginning to flow a little bit faster. You continue for another hour or two. You pass what appears to be like a sandbar, perhaps. And as you go by it, you catch a glimpse of like a small clearing and a stone circle, fire pit. It appears as though it's one of the campsites that Dusk had been talking about, and she points it out as you go past. It's probably mid-afternoon at this point. There are more of these ahead. Multiple locations to bring the boats ashore, to tie them off and rest for the night before heading the final stretch to Nulb. My guess is that these forest archers believe us to be with the Burne's Badgers or the Vanguard. My guess is that they do not think that we are transporting much cargo on a ship of this size, but nevertheless, their curiosity has been piqued, I would say. What do you think we should do then?
I think we should keep going. A little further, to one of the campsites a little further north.
Yeah, there's another 2 hours up ahead.
That
Good
sounds
campsite.
good. We'll aim for that one, but we'll be diligent and make sure that, like, we don't get jumped on the way there.
Do we want to get there too late to give them a chance to ambush us at night, or would it be better to dock earlier so we have a chance to set up and scout the area?
I think docking early, but it's still just early afternoon. So if it's 2 hours, that's still enough time for
And
us
we
to stop.
could, if we set up at night, set up for night, we could set up like a fake tent and then like move into the woods and like watch the tent. Because you know that the tents always get attacked.
Santi, you're so weird about tents.
I've been attacked in tents so many times.
It's understandable. But you're weird about them.
This game will for always have traumatized Ashley when she decides to go camping in real life. She's like sleeping out in the grass
Never
next to the
been
tent.
attacked in a tent in real life, no.
All right, so you guys are going to continue on for a couple more hours. And we'll say, just for the sake of brevity, that you don't encounter any additional hostilities as you continue for those remaining 2 hours. And the captain deftly pilots you with the help of his strapping young first mate as they push to this beach, and they beach the craft. The first mate jumps off, Dusk jumps off the craft, and the rest of you follow suit as they pull the boat up onto the sand, and they take a 50-foot length of rope, because they come in 50-foot lengths here, and they tie it off the boat to secure it to some trees at the water's edge. And you can see as you step up, grabbing perhaps your gear off of the boat and hauling it up the embankment, that there is indeed an opening with a small campsite, some matted down vegetation where it looks like people have placed tents or bedrolls. There is a fire ring, which looks as though it has been not recently used, like it's not still warm, but it's been, this campsite gets used frequently. So it seems as though it's fairly well kept. And there's even a little pile of kindling that's kind of haphazardly piled up next to the fire pit, as if, sort of the unspoken rule of the water here is to kind of leave enough kindling to start a quick fire should someone get there late at night and be in need of some warmth or some light, especially this time of year.
How are the trees? Are they tall, thick?
Most of them are deciduous trees, and a lot of them have lost their leaves. The oak trees that are common in this area and very old typically still hang on to their brown dried leaves. They don't give up their leaves very easily, whereas the rest of the trees, the cottonwoods and some of the others, have long lost their leaves already in the fall weather. There are some conifers, some evergreen trees that are scattered amongst the area. And you can see some spots where the lower limbs, branches have been cut off as if someone probably hung some hammocks in the trees and that kind of thing. It appears to be a nice little campsite if it wasn't for the fact that you anticipated being ambushed by thugs and brigands. Be a nice place to camp.
Do we want to find a spot in like a glob of conifers so that like at least there's a little bit of cover? And we can do your fake tent idea, Xanthi. We can put one out in the middle.
Yeah, we should do that. So
Light a
fake
fire.
tent and then like man the bonfire for it. But not sleep in that one. Like
No.
take turns sleeping, like in a secluded, hidden one.
Yes. And maybe we bring your guy, your boat guy. Call him Nibus. Do you mind that I named him Nibus?
Oh, the
Nibus? Is he
mannequin, the fake
The
The
dummy.
scarecrow guy.
scarecrow, the
Nice.
Yeah. Let's call him Nibus, just for, ease of dialogue. We'll put
Alright.
him by the fire. Not in the fire. Nibus wouldn't like that, but as a target.
Well, I think we should put Nibis in a sleeping role
In a
by the
sleeping?
fire.
Sitting
Yeah.
up, maybe.
Well, no, I'd say sleeping because then he really looks like he's not.
Will they see him, though?
I think they will.
You look
It's pretty
over
bare.
at as Dusk strings a hammock in the trees and hangs her pack. She gets her bow out. She throws her quiver over her shoulder with a dozen arrows or so in there, and she's like, "I'm gonna go survey. I'll be back." And she walks off and like disappears almost immediately into the underbrush.
Scream real loud if you get hit.
I will.
Okay. Yeah, Xanthi's gonna help set up like a sleeping roll, kind of in the shade of the tent, so that it's hard to see, especially in dark. So it looks like we only had enough tents for some of the people, and somebody had to like sleep next to the fire.
I'll set up the real tent. Back in an area that isn't seen so well. There's as many conifers as I can find for some cover, hopefully.
You look over at the pilot and his first mate, and they're setting up some food, their mess kits, and they're getting some food going over a fire that they've already started. Just a little whiffs of smoke coming off of it. Not a whole lot of smoke to give off, position or anything, but certainly some heat, welcome heat. It's sort of this damp, cold air in this evening. And they're not setting up sleeping arrangements, and you get the sense that they're probably going to be sleeping on the boat itself. We're going to sleep on the deck. Safer for the boy, myself.
Good idea.
It's a good idea. Yeah.
Anybody want some boiled fish?
Sure, I'll trade you some Golden Shears coffee.
Most splendid.
Do you like a medium roast? Because that's what this is. It's the best.
That's all we don't have any.
I'm not
Prices.
familiar with roast, but do you like coffee?
Do you want it hot or cold? Because I can do iced.
Hot coffee.
All right, then I need a cup.
Well, shit. Well, they gotta work on that branding and get some cups.
Well, it's not like I'm charging you money.
Yeah, that's right. We got some. Get some cups, boy. And the younger deckhand grabs out of the mess kit a couple of tin cups, and you fill them
Xanthi
up,
We'll fill them with coffee.
just piping hot. So they settle in. Soup is shared amongst the group. You're your scout doesn't come back as the sun is getting low. You got a little fire going. What is your plan here? Are you going to take any precautions as night descends upon the camp?
Well, how long has she been gone?
At this point, I'll say she's been gone about 2 hours.
Seems excessive.
It does.
Should we send Lucky up?
Yeah.
Just for a little look-see?
Yeah, see if he notices anything. He's an owl, so he belongs in the forest.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably best time for him to look around, too. It's dark.
Yeah, give me a perception check. Give me a D20 roll, Nori, with advantage, please.
A 10 and a 5. Flat.
So Lucky flies off into the forest and is gone for a while, and Desmond is not looking through their eyes because they're well outside of 100 feet. He just kind of shrugs his shoulders. I guess we'll have to wait until Lucky gets back to know what the verdict is on that.
I could try
Is there-
tracking a little
Is
bit.
there a tree that seems to be taller than the others that I could get a decent view around if I went up?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm gonna take the breastplate off because it's probably shiny.
Yeah, it makes it hard to climb too.
Not for me.
For normal people, it makes it hard to
For
climb.
normal people,
Yeah.
not for me.
Yep. Yeah, you almost as if a
Shiny.
almost as a spider, you climb up the trunk of the tree. It's almost uncanny his ability to scale this tree, you guys. Like he's not even using like the limbs to grab onto and pull up. He's just like climbing up the side of the tree.
Careful, you don't want to look like a spider in this group.
Well, you know, Lachlan's no longer here. He's the one who really was scared of them.
Nice boots.
He's really dexterous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You get to the top of this tree. Well, you get halfway to the top of the tree, we'll say. You get to where it kind of breaks the canopy, and you can start to see out over some of the other trees. Do you want to keep climbing up higher?
Sure.
All right, you climb up another 10, 20 feet, and the tree is starting to get sort of narrow, and it's starting to sway a little bit. You want to keep
enough.
climbing?
That's enough.
All right. Give me a perception check. What are you trying to ascertain?
I'm trying to see any movement, any figures, bodies, anything like that. And this might be a good time to use that advantage.
That's
Save
up
it
to
for when
you.
you fall.
Let's roll both of the dice.
The big and the little.
That's right. Here's the hoping. Ooh, 20 and a 17 on the die. Or a 23.
The natural 20, you say?
Yes, this die has rolled 2 20s for me. I'm
Okay.
very happy with this die.
Yeah, I would say so. All right, so you're looking out, and the sun is starting to set. So it's the tones of the forest light is very gray at this point, and a little bit of a blue has kind of like this sort of like strange hue to everything. And you're looking for movement, smoke from fires, openings in the canopy, anything that might be noteworthy. And the one thing that you do notice is that there appears to be some sort of like a small hill, like a series of hills, rocky outcrops just to the east. And do you have any navigating experience at all? I don't remember what your if you have any tool sets that you have proficiency with or any skills. Give me a survival check if not.
I can do survival. Not well. That's just a 7.
Okay. It seems like it's this cluster of hills is maybe a mile or two away. Hard to say, but it's not too far. But you don't see movement through the canopy. You're pretty high up. You're probably 40 feet up at this point. but you're looking down through canopy and branches. Even if they're denuded of leaves, it's still difficult to see, and there's long shadows and darkness below.
All right. Take note of the hill and also just look around where we're at. Since I'm only 40 feet up, I should be able to see a little bit. Got that dark vision.
That helps a little bit.
Yeah, a little.
Yeah, not really though.
Not really.
It's a nice feature.
Sure.
You climb back down? Or do you hang out?
I stay up there for a little bit, just until it's dark. That way it's easier for me to get down without being seen if somebody is noticing.
Okay. Eventually you do climb down and rejoin your friends. And as you do, you see dusk return into camp. I've done quite a wide loop around the area, and there are tracks of gnolls all over the place. I didn't see any activity. That's not to say that they...
No, but they're attracted to tents. This makes sense.
Excuse me?
Yeah, gnolls hate tents. Or they love them. I don't know, but they always like to attack people in tents.
Tents, you say?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Also, if your name is Xanthi.
Ask about the hills that are maybe a mile away, if she had seen those.
I could tell that there was some topography in that direction, but I didn't investigate the hills proper. But I wonder if there might be... Well, my hunch is that perhaps there would be an infiltration from the water, in addition to anything that might come through the forest. If we are to be ambushed, that is. Well, only time will tell, but I do believe we should be ready for anything.
All right, well, I am going to spend the night hiding, but watching from over there. She points to where we've kind of set up like a hidden tent in the forest.
Very well. We should all take a watch, indeed. Perhaps 2 at a time if we can. I would be happy to take the first watch.
No, I'll take the first watch too.
Very well.
I'll take the second then.
Well, whatever it takes.
And we'll let Desmond take the third one.
I'll take a watch too, says the pilot. All right, so Nori and Dusk, Xanthi and Alrin and Desmond and the pilot. Okay. So you guys finish up your meal, you make your preparations, you settle into your places of rest or your places of concealment. Is there anything specifically that you prepare before the watches begin?
Nori's gonna, I don't know how she's gonna do this, but some kind of like noise, maybe some broken branches kind of around maybe where it looks like if she can find some tracks that might be there, some gnoll tracks that Dusk has said is all around. I might try to put a bunch of sticks in that area that hopefully if they're coming, they'll step on it and it'll snap.
Okay.
As many as I have time for.
I'm going to stoke the fires that's visible so that we don't have to refill it a lot at night.
Okay. So you get the fire going.
Maybe between a couple of trees, tie the rope in between them, use the 50 feet, hang a bell on it so that if anything walks through it, tie it pretty low.
Okay. Give me a sleight of hand check. Or survival.
14.
Which one did you roll?
They're the same.
Which one?
Probably sleight of hand.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you tie it off, and you feel pretty good about, the placement, and how well it's tied. You set up a little bit of a kind of a trap or an alarm at least. Okay. All right. So 2 by 2, you take your watches. Nori, why don't you give me a D12 roll?
Seven.
Okay, and give me a perception check with advantage.
17.
Okay. You hear at some point in your watch as you and Dusk are sitting around the fire, Dusk doesn't make a whole lot of small talk. She's not really a talker. She's not unfriendly, but she just isn't a talker per se. Not that you couldn't start a conversation with her if you wanted to, but you hear at moments just barely audible above the gentle crackle of the branches burning in the fire, and the breeze that kind of blows across the river. You hear an owl hooting. You watch Dusk just kind of like look. She looks back at you and just kind of shrugs. Give me a nature check, please.
That is 14, and I am proficient in nature.
Of course you are. Beautifully proficient, I might add. It sounds like an owl that you've heard many, many times before. They seem to be fairly common. You also have learned to have at least somewhat of a discerning ear when it comes to fake owl calls that you've heard on multiple occasions.
And made.
Yes, and you are also a connoisseur of fake animal noises, as it were. It sounds to be natural, and doesn't alert you or Dusk as your watch goes on, and you feel fairly calm during this first watch, but there's a sense of anticipation. And about 2 hours in, the sticks that you had thrown down, you hear a crunch. Oh, shit. Oh, wow. You hear someone calling out in the darkness. Dusk stands up immediately, draws her bow, knocks an arrow, trains it in the direction. It's all darkness. You can just kind of see the firelight flickering against the trees. What do you do?
Let's see. I think I would like to do. How far away are we from where the sound is? Like 30
I would
feet?
say probably less than 30 feet.
Okay, I would like to do minor illusion with just like a light. Light it up on the ground where I think I heard the noise. Just like a little flash so I can illuminate what that might be.
Is it just like a quick flash, or is it like a prolonged light source?
Well, it's got a duration of a minute, so it could be a prolonged light source if that's what I want.
How are you using it?
Just on probably on the sticks that I put down that just snapped. I'm just gonna put it down on that area, just like maybe a little like a white Christmas light kind of vibe down there, and just leave it on. Okay, you leave it on.
Okay. You see this figure kind of almost stumbling over the branches, and you can see another and kind of a trip and a fumble, and you see this tall, slender figure, now illuminated by the light, cloaked in tattered robes, midnight black, as they come forward. Hello? Sorry to be a bother. And as she steps forward, this woman steps forward, you can see just ashen, pale skin, jet black hair, pale blue eyes, and sort of this sunken, gaunt face. I saw the firelight. She takes another step forward. You can see she has scars on her forehead, some sort of markings or scars, maybe as if she had been in a horrible fire or something of that nature. May I take a rest at the warmth of your fire?
I mean, is she looking gaunt, like undead looking?
Give me an insight check. Meanwhile, Dusk, arrow and bow just trained on this individual.
That's a 7.
We're not taking any visitors tonight, I'm afraid. What is your business? Well, I simply sought a bit of warmth by the fire. If I'm a nuisance, I'll simply leave. I apologize. Yes, maybe you should leave. Isn't that right, Nori? What do you want to do here?
Let's just, if she leaves... Is she leaving? Is she turning around and leaving?
Are you saying that out loud?
No, is that what I see? Is she turning around and
Okay.
leaving?
Yeah. She's like, I apologize for the bother, just seeking a bit of warmth, but I'll be on my way then. She just kind of takes note of your camp. Seems warm. I smelt the food, and well.
Dusk, should we get
Good
her?
night. Good night. And she starts to walk away. She trips. God damn it! Shit! She trips over your sticks. She hits the little rope. Ding-a-ling-ding-a-ling. The bell rings. And she just, you can hear her kind of like grunting and kind of hobbling off into the woods. And Dusk doesn't let the arrow down or the bow down at all. She just has it trained on the darkness. I don't like the feeling of this. That was weird as fuck.
Agreed. Should we not have let her go? I don't know. I don't feel like fighting her if she didn't do anything to us, but...
We must remain vigilant, that's for sure.
Did you see her? The scar, everything?
Yeah, she could use a meal or two. She starts to just lessen the tension on her bowstring and sort of point it at the ground. The arrow is still knocked. Well,
I'm gonna walk over to where she was in the sticks.
What's up, Alex?
And just see if everything looks normal there. Like, I mean, besides that she just broke stuff.
Yeah, your light is still up at this point because it's only been like 30 seconds or maybe about a minute. It's starting to fade or whatever. You can recast it, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
But you can see that she walked in, tripped on a bunch of the sticks that it worked like a charm, and she left. I mean, they're kind of kicked about.
What do her footprints look like? Making a mental note for...
They're small. And they are, they're booted, so they're not barefoot. She has some sort of footwear on.
That's something.
Mm-hmm.
I will go back to the fire. Not turn my back. Go back to the fire, sit back down. Do I hear the owl again?
Roll a perception check.
Or any flapping? It's 15. Also, do I hear any other creatures in the forest?
You do hear the owl hoot, but not for a couple minutes. It's a few minutes later as you're listening. If you're kind of moving back towards the fire area, you do eventually hear it hooting. You don't really hear a ton of animal life at this point in the night. Most of the birds are roosting, so a lot of the late afternoon, evening chatter of birds, you know how they all get super vocal like right before the sun goes down and they're moving around finding their roost sites. All of that has kind of happened already. There are little rodents and things that, you know, little voles that scurry about willy-nilly hither thither, but nothing unusual.
Okay.
Things seem to, I mean, you know, there might have been a quietness when there was the snap and all of that and the light went up and everything, but it just kind of like passed. But it does leave a sort of a, I don't know, a bit of a sour taste in your mouth almost.
Because she was creepy. Okay. She seemed creepy to me. Dusk, were you creeped out by her? Or just was it...
Very much so. She was creepy as shit.
Yeah. We're gonna have to
There
warn the
are
others.
tales of old crones in the gnarly forests, in the marshes and the backwaters that like to cause trouble, but she seemed really like a harmless old woman, but creepy as hell.
Agreed. I wouldn't have slept well tonight if we'd just murdered her for snapping some twigs, but I
That would have
don't
been
know if I'm
wrong
gonna
of
sleep
us.
now anyway.
Well, we'll sleep with some semblance of a conscience if we have them. You get the sense that there's more to that story as she sits back down by the fire. So, at the end of your watch, you wake Xanthi and Alrin.
So
Already,
anything exciting happened while we were sleeping?
we had a visitor.
Really? Who was it?
Creepy, weird old lady, maybe. She stepped on the sticks. She rang the bell. You might want to check the bell, make sure it's in place. She didn't come in, though.
Do you think she was scoping out the place for someone else?
I mean, maybe. It's impossible to know. Just keep an eye out. She was real
Should
creepy.
we check on the boat?
Well, she came from the other. She came from the other side.
As Xanthi says that about the boat, you guys all look over to the boat. And you can hear it without fail. The snoring of the pilot as he lays curled up alongside the first mate.
Okay, that's good. Well, you know, like, I kind of feel like you know, should have given her some food or drink or, you know, whatever, instead of just chasing her off. Like, aren't there like all these stories about like you should be nice to old random creepy ladies in the forest because if you're good then they grant your wishes and if you're bad then they curse you, right?
Well, we were neither. I mean, and she was creepy and we were trying to watch for other things. So we could have been trying to watch for her. I don't know. You didn't see her. It was weird.
At your description, my character seems very, very upset at it, but tries not to say anything. But you can see in his face there's some horror there.
Have you heard of this lady, Alrin?
She was wearing boots. She wasn't a complete weirdo out in the woods.
No, but I've run into some creatures that this reminds me of that is unsettling and has brought me great pain.
It's hard to know, though. She could have just been an old lady.
Speculation will get us nowhere at this point. What we must be is vigilant and must get some rest, because we know that the likelihood of an encounter, if not tonight, tomorrow is high. I'm going to sleep. Wake me if something else creepy as shit happens.
Will do.
Dusk hops into their hammock.
Xanthi will like lean over and prestidigitate it warm. Because we're kind of away from the fire. so it's probably pretty chilly.
The hammock?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. That was kind.
You're welcome. I tried to be helpful.
Nori will just go sleep in the cold tent.
With the stained, the rat
Yep.
turd stains.
Hey, it's clean as it's gonna get.
Xanthi will pop her head
Oh
in
my
and
God.
like heat up the foot of your sleeping bag.
Oh, thank you, Xanthi.
You're welcome.
It's so hard to sleep with cold feet.
I know, right?
All right, so Alrin, why don't you give me a D12 roll, and Xanthi, why don't you give me a perception check?
2.
Okay.
16.
Okay. Xanthi, you hear at some point during the night the hoot of the owl, which doesn't necessarily creep you out that much. You've heard a lot of these owls. Maybe it does. I don't know. It does creep you out?
Well, it does a little bit because it seems like we have an owl following us.
Always.
I know, right? Like maybe. So, Aaron, you haven't been with us a long time, but I feel like we're kind of being spied upon by like some random person's owl.
That
I
is
mean,
very off-putting, but okay.
it's not. I don't feel like they're using it to attack us all the time, but like I do feel like somebody's keeping an eye on us.
Okay. Well, you guys are still alive, so we'll say that's a good thing, I guess.
Well, I talk to it more, but we're trying to be quiet because we think we'll be jumped, so I should probably be quiet.
Yeah, I haven't played my instrument in days, and I'm itching to, but not anytime soon.
So you're a bounty hunter, right? How did you get into that?
Well, I've been trying to find out information about something that happened to me quite a few years ago. And this seemed to be the best profession to sort of follow the breadcrumbs, if you will. It was quite a tragedy that befell me. So I was on the run for a while for my safety, and thankfully I picked up skills before everything happened from my parents. They were quite the skilled hunters, actually, but they are unfortunately no more. They found their demise through something horrific, and I don't want to go into it too much now here today, but that old lady gave me kind of a flashback of something that happened.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. What exactly were you running from?
A creature that I don't know very much about, but it well, to say the least, it literally and figuratively tore my family apart.
Oh no. And it like decided to hunt you, or
I'm not sure who it was hunting. It might have been the fact that the hunt that my parents did went wrong or something like that. I don't know the details, and so I'm trying to find out more.
well, I don't know. Maybe you could describe the creature, and like we could help you find it.
Well, at the time, the creature looked like my mother until it turned into something horrible. at which point I had to run to survive.
Oh. That's not good. So it was really good at disguising itself?
It was able to take the form of another, yes.
Okay. That's really, that's really scary. Yeah, I could see why you would be really scared at something like that.
Yeah, so I've been trying to find out more information for the past few years, while also trying to stay a little bit on the down low in certain areas, circling back around to where the event happened.
Where did the event happen?
My hometown, which was far away. I'd rather not describe it too much for now.
Oh, aren't we friends?
We are indeed, but I've just met you a few days ago, and, after what happened to me, I can't be too sure. I need more time.
All right. Okay, well, keep your secrets. I just, I left home because I really wanted to be a hero. I wanted to help people and, be a super awesome adventurer. I made like a adventuring journal about all of the cool things I've done and the people I've helped. I stopped a couple of apocalypses and, I'm really a good person. So, just, we should be friends,
I agree. From the stories you've told and from what I've seen, you do look like a hero. You are a hero.
Hey,
Yeah, hero. Yep. Yeah, always be a hero. You watch as the pilot gets up, kind of pulls up his britches a little bit and waddles over. Use the facilities. He just kind of walks through your conversation.
okay. Whew. Well, Sandy's just gonna be really nervous and awkward for the rest of this.
You've got a lot to think about here. As the two of you are having this conversation, you realize that 10 minutes have passed, 15, 20 minutes have passed, half hour has passed, and the pilot hasn't come back. He walked through your conversation out to use the facilities, into the darkness just beyond the firelight, and hasn't returned.
We should wake people up and make sure we can find him.
That might be a good idea.
Xanthi's gonna get up and crawl into the tent and just gently rock Nori's feet. Nori,
What's
the
happening?
boat guy disappeared.
What?
We need to go find him.
As that's happening, Alrin, what are you doing?
I'm gonna wake up Dusk.
Okay, and Desmond, I imagine.
Yeah.
Yep. So you're waking everybody relatively quietly. You're not like,
Yeah.
everybody up. You're kind of being quiet about it.
Do we still hear the kids sleeping on the boat?
Funny you ask, because as you wake up Desmond, you shake him awake, you tap the hammock where Dusk is, and you turn to look at the boat where the young first mate was sleeping. You look there and you don't see him right away. You walk over and you can see where the bedrolls, there's 2 bedrolls laid out, presumably one for the pilot, one for the first mate. Neither of them is occupied at this moment. And that's when you hear this blood curdling scream from the woods back the way that the old man, the pilot, had gone to use the facilities. Ah, shit! And that, my friends, is where we're going to go ahead and end tonight's session, as the pilot and the first mate have disappeared into the woods. You have roused your companions. What lies ahead, we will not know until next week.
He found that old lady.
Or something found him for sure.
Oh, well, my friends, thank you so much for hanging out with us. Yes, a little bit of a cliffhanger. We'll see what happens next week. Presumably we'll have Andy G3D back with us, and hopefully you'll be able to, I mean, you're going to need a pilot and a first mate who know the river. Let's be honest. These are not...
Why are you saying that?
Well, I'm just suggesting that it's probably a good idea. That's all, Shelly. I'm sorry. I'm just, I'm throwing that out there. You used to have a seaman of some renown, but no more seamen, and so you need these guys. Enough said. Thank you all for hanging out with us and playing along. We had some awesome puns going in the chat. While, by the way, a very interesting conversation was happening between Alrin and Xanthi, which it's a notable conversation. We'll come back to that, I'm sure, at some point. All right, you guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We're going to go around the table and have my friends reintroduce themselves to you. There's a lot of new people in the chat tonight. So first of all, thank you so much for joining us, whether you rated in with Blue Box or Lord Gazumbo, or you stumbled across us somehow, or someone shared a link with you. We really, really appreciate it. Thank you so much for the follow. Supreme YDNAC. God, I hope I got that right. Thank you so much for being here. I usually butcher those, some of those handles. We really appreciate it, guys. Please consider following or subscribing if you like what we're doing here. With your help, we get to turn around and support other content creators like CZRPG, Jose Ortiz, who does our custom character art, and others. We're going to raid into our friends at, well, I'm going to figure that out right now, but we're going to go around the table while I'm doing that, and we're going to have our friends introduce you. Let's start with Vamp Wickman. Vamp, thank you so much for being here, man. I've just had a blast having you back at the table. It's been a while, and now we're doing it on the regular, which is pretty freaking awesome.
What?
So thank you for being here, brother. Appreciate
Regular
it.
dates with Dave?
Isn't that
Yeah.
amazing? Oh,
So good.
where can we find it? What do you have going on? You got some big stuff happening. What's going on?
Well, I mean, besides these wonderful Tuesday nights where I'm here on Heroes of Greyhawk, trying to keep this all sane. I'm not trying to keep it sane, people. I'm not.
Good luck with that.
Find me on the net, Vamp Wickman, and then I'll be at GaryCon and Founders and Legends celebrating 50 years of D&D, doing some craziness, having some fun, seeing all my friends again.
We're gonna have fun.
It's gonna be
Actually, everybody on screen right now is gonna be there. So Ashley's gonna be there, Shelly's gonna be there. I'm really lobbying Andy to join us. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, so glad to have you at the table, Chad. It's a blast. And I can't wait to see what happens next week. Let's jump over to Shelly. Shelly.
Yeah. Hey, yo. I'm Shelly. You can find me on Threads and Blue Sky and Instagram at Hey It's Flea Monkey. And and also you guys should come to our Instagram, Guild Superiors, because we have a lot of cool things coming up that you don't know about, but you will.
Do we have a link for that? Here, I'll put a link in the chat.
Yeah.
We're actively promoting our Instagram
chat.
Yeah, because Shelly is running it. So I mean,
running it.
There you go.
Right
That's
into the toilet.
Oh, well, I mean, wherever it goes, we'll be happy with you at the helm of that toilet.
It'll be a fun ride anyway.
It'll be a great ride. Thank you so much, Shelly. Great to have you here. You guys, this is the 50th Heroes of Greyhawk episode. Put that in your pipe and smoke it.
Yep.
And inhale. With that said, let's jump over to Ashley. Hey, Ash.
Hey everybody, I'm Ashley. You may know me as Minnesota Muse. I'm Minnesota Muse on our Discord, and Minnesota Muse on Blue Sky, and Minnesota Muse 99 on the Threads. And right now you can only find me here on Tuesdays for Heroes of Greyhawk.
Heck yeah, we got exclusive rights to Ashley for the moment, and we love it. So, and 2024 is coming around, Ashley, and there's going to be some things that I'm not going to be able to keep mum anymore. The zipper is going to open and things are going to spew forth, but not yet. Not quite yet. Thank you for being here.
Wait till I get that one pager written.
Yeah, write up that one pager. Yeah, get that done. Your homework. No, we're very excited for 2024. We got some fun stuff coming. I can tease a little bit. We're gonna have more The Walking Dead with Kurt. We're gonna have Shiv is coming back to run some more games. We've got a follow up to our Seeds of Destruction charity stream, which was absolutely a blast. Shelly was in that game along with a couple other folks. Sundance Sid and Cal TTRPG, myself. We are going to have a secret GM running a game that I can't talk about. We'll be running some different types of games here in addition to our Greyhawk game, which will continue on. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming up. And on let's see, our first new thing on the 4th, we're going to be running a one-shot Morkborg game with Erica Nerdy Yogi and others. I can't wait. I love the Morkborg game system. It's going to be so much fun. But yeah, there's lots coming in 2024, and thank you all for hanging out with us and cheering us on as we get goofy. We are going to go ahead and dive into this raid, my friends. Please, when you get over to the Dork Tales, give them some good old-fashioned Guild Superior love. We love to support our fellow content creators, and we get to do it with you. So thank you for that. We really appreciate you being here, and we'll see you this Saturday at 11 a.m. Central for the finale to our first Walking Dead RPG arc with Kurt. Saturday, 11 a.m. Central. Come and join us. We'll be here. Thank you, guys. Bye.